So I'm Mohammed Ahmad. I am an incoming analyst at a financial consultancy firm. I completed my bachelor's degree from IBA Karachi with my majors in accounting and finance. I grew up in a smaller or a remote area of the city, Mardan, KPK, where there were limited resources but had strong family support. Early schooling was at Beacon House, and then, A levels and O levels both were at Beacon House, and eventually ended up at IBA. And now I'll be starting off my full time employment, even though I've been working part time. Did my internships and other works such as my final year project at L'Oreal and internship at Nestle Pakistan. Sure. So basically, there were a few reasons why I opted for IBA. Since childhood, or ever since I've had the passion for numbers, analyzing data and working through problems. So I knew I wanted to get into somewhere that had to work with numbers and data. I had a few options at that time. Either go for chartered accountancy ACCA through the private channel, or go for university route through a degree where I'll have more exposure and more opportunities. So at that time I decided that I should go for bachelor's degree with IBA. That was primarily because of a few reasons. Firstly, IBA is ranked one of the top business schools in the country, and it has a strong alumni network, across the globe and in Pakistan as well. It was established in the 1950s, so it's over 70 years old now. Has had people from in the corporate, in the government sector, in the political. One of our ex-prime ministers, president. Many people have been from the sector and from graduated from IBA. So, and lastly, since Karachi is a bigger environment in terms of the corporate and different opportunities that are available, I felt like IBA was a better choice for me as compared to other business schools that I got into. That's an interesting point that you've spoken about, right? So basically, I've always been interested in exploring new things and trying to upskill myself. So initially, I started off with learning, in my freshman year, I started off with learning basic Excel skills, and then moving on to, Power BI and more technical softwares and programming skills. You spoke about the McKinsey Forward program, during my junior year, or when I was closer to my completion of degree, I realized that I really enjoyed working with real world problems, solving them and working through those problems. And the McKinsey Fall program, it's a great platform to help you explore those skills, build upon those, work with people from across the globe, whom you can work on with case studies, whom you can interact with, and then work through the problem that you solve. And the problem set that you get, or the case study that you get, it's a real world case study. So you have to apply multiple hats, you have to wear multiple hats, and work through that. So that was the reason why I opted for McKinsey Fall program. And in general as well, I feel like one needs to upskill from time to time, because the world is changing so fastly. With a few years back we were amazed at seeing the LLMs, chatbots like ChatGPT, or maybe Gemini, but now we're seeing AI agents, and in the future, we can expect, what, like, there's endless possibilities that we can expect that. So I feel like upskilling through certifications, through different programs, boot camps, it really helps in building a real world, or a composed business graduate or a business person. That helps you stay on top of your game and helps you be ahead of the curve when there's adoption happening. Yeah, sure. So there are basically a few platforms that are very easily accessible. So, first things first, I would recommend for people who cannot afford, to pay for certifications, or maybe do not want to pay for certifications, they can just simply go on YouTube and search anything that they want to learn, and they'll, get that course or whatever they want to learn. Because a certificate doesn't really add value. What adds value is the skill that you learn from them, and how you apply that to solve business problems, or how you apply that in real world scenarios. So firstly, YouTube is a great platform. A platform that I really used, and found really helpful was Coursera. because through IBA we had free access to Coursera for like a year or even beyond that if somebody wanted to continue that. So Coursera also really helped because it has like diverse certifications from top universities like Stanford, Yale, etc. As well as it has like a capstone project at the end of every certification. So you really get to apply those skills that you learn in those certifications. So Coursera, YouTube, and there are other learning platforms like LinkedIn Learning and many other platforms that you can find. But YouTube is it's free to access and it has great content available. So I would definitely recommend for people who want to learn new skills. It's not about a certificate, so just go for YouTube and do projects. So for example, if you do a certification or do a course on Python, just go on GitHub or go on Kaggle, download data sets, work through those, use those projects to showcase your skills. If you're applying for an internship, put that on your resume. And then, or if you are not applying for an internship, just put that on your LinkedIn. Engage with the audience or engage with your connections on that. Discuss with people who are already in the field, or people that you aspire to be like, or people working in the firms or working in the companies that you want to get into. That will really help you build your connection, sharpen up your skills, and apply those in real world scenarios.
All right.
Honestly, when you're applying for the first internship, like, if I speak about my own experiences, I didn't really know what to expect and how to go about it in a more structured way as compared to now when I'm, a few years or, now that I've graduated. So the first internship was, I just reached out to somebody on LinkedIn. A friend was already working at the company. So I reached out to the recruiter, if they had another opportunity for an intern that they could hire. I simply reached out to them. They said, yeah, you may share your resume. I dropped in my resume, had a couple of interviews, and then, landed my internship. But the interesting story is what is before that internship is, ton of rejections. You get walked down sometimes. You get demotivated, but at the same time, you need to know that, once you're into it, once you get how to track that, or once you get how to get through it, you'll just be fine. So the first internship isn't really a great story, but the journey that led to the first internship is the one that's really I remember. Talk about freshmen or incoming freshmen who are just starting out college. I feel like making mistakes is fine, but not making mistakes isn't. So when you make mistakes initially, you get exposed to different things, the bad outcomes, or the potential outcomes that happen, and then you learn through those mistakes. So I feel like mistakes are bound to happen. Instead of focusing on not making mistakes, students should focus on, okay, so if you have made a mistake, or if you have made a bad decision, how do you adapt to that? How do you come out of that? And how do you make sure that the mistake that you made or the bad decision that you took, that doesn't happen in the future, right? So that's something that's really important. But at the same time, people sometimes, or incoming freshmen, they sometimes get very intimidated by the change in culture. So in school and colleges, you are forced to sort of study. Your parents are after you, your instructors, your teachers are after you. But at university or at college, you're on your own. You don't have people above your head who force you to study, who force you to do internships. You have to stay very composed. You have to make sure that you are responsible for your entire journey, be it your internship, be it your projects, be it your grades, be it your CGPA, whatever you're doing. You have to be very responsible. So that's something that's very important. Mistakes are bound to happen, and just learn through them, navigate through them, and make sure that the mistakes that you did previously, they don't happen again.
All right.
Yeah, sure. So actually, at universities generally, you get opportunities like peership, RAship, or volunteer work societies, etc. I wanted to explore everything. I had done, societies, volunteer work, social internships. So TA was something that was missing, and I started my first TA in my junior year. There are two aspects to a TA. Firstly, you get paid some stipend, so that's the plus point. You get to ooze out on the parties that you have with friends or the good time that you have, instead of asking for money from your family because you are dependent on them generally. So that is the first part, kind of the cool part maybe. The second part is how you go about that integration. So for my case, I was the TA for an MBA course. An MBA course or MBA courses generally are structured very conversational, not very theoretical, or I would say rather very practical, not very theoretical as at bachelor's level. So I got exposed to how MBA students or industry professionals think, how they work, and how they solve problems when we are working through case studies with them. So that exposure that really helped me when I was applying for my jobs, when I'm applying for consulting roles at top firms or interviewing with them. That mindset shift in terms of how you approach problems, how you think, how you develop framework, uh, and at the same time working with people, because as a TA you are generally responsible for a class size of, let's say, 30 or 40. So you have to make sure that the class runs smoothly, the back end operation of the class also runs smoothly. The slide deck that has to be taught to the class is ready, it's updated. The course content that has to be uploaded on the portal or the learning management system, that's up to date. So it's a lot of deadline. You have to meet a lot of deadlines. You have to make sure that everything's running smoothly. At the same time, you have to make sure that your own work or your own academics don't get too much affected by that. So for me, it was a great experience because I got to learn a lot. I got to work with people who were senior than me in terms of their roles, in terms of their experiences. So I had a very, I had a great experience being a TA. Um, you know, um, I've tried to work on different things during my degree, as you might have noticed through my profile as well. So my most recent work was with L'Oreal. It was a strategy project. At Nestle, I worked on an automation project. At the Delta Consulting Group, I worked on client-facing roles, primarily business development, slide decks. And at IBA Auric as a research assistant, I was working, with a client. We were solving their problem, and I was responsible for the research part of it. So I've had an exposure to a variety of tasks, and I realized a few things, working through these roles, that I really enjoy client-facing work. I really enjoy working with people, and lastly, I enjoy working, solving solving problems for the client. And then I try to find out or try to explore how can I make sure that I get into a field where I get a feel of all these three things that I like to enjoy, but all these three things that I like to work on. And consulting generally, it gives you flavor of all these. You get to learn a lot. You get to work with clients. You get to work with leadership, C-suite executives. You get to work on problems, challenging problems that have never existed before. So based on my previous experiences and my personal interests, consulting felt like the right field for myself, and hence I chose consulting.
All right, that's great.
So, definitely there are a few key differences that you or one feels when you're transitioning from a startup or a smaller firm to, full-fledged multinational corporations. So the first thing, at the smaller firm, generally, you have much more ownership and much more responsibility and direct exposure or direct working with the leadership. So at the Delta Consulting Group, I was working directly with the chief consulting partner. We were working on business developments, pitch decks, slide decks, client presentations. I was primarily responsible for much of that work. So I was really working with you know, the leadership firsthand. While generally, when we talk about large companies, there are structured systems. You have to follow protocols. You have to make sure that the brand, credibility is stays intact in terms of how the company wants to position itself, and you have to follow global practices that are embodied through the organization channel. So again, both of those, they teach you in your own manner, because somebody who wants to learn, you get to learn generally in a structured organization more. But at the same time, if you want to excel, you want to fast track, like a smaller firm might give you a larger or a steeper learning curve as compared to the other. So basically, for LinkedIn or for any social platform that somebody wants to grow, there are a few things, or that one needs to follow day in day out. Firstly, initially, you start off by building your profile. You add as much detail as you can. Starting off from a professional picture to your summary to your education, experiences, volunteer work, projects, etc. Try and fill out every detail that's available or that's there on the profile, because the algorithm of the site is as such that people who have complete profile with details in it, it gets pushed to the recruiters, people who are looking for, looking to hire, or generally if you're looking for somebody in an industry, somebody with a complete profile will get a push, or their search will be optimized at a better level. So that's the first thing that needs to be done. Secondly, you need to identify the kind of audience that you need to engage with, and the industry or the career that you want to get into, maybe. And thirdly, you start engaging with people by either reaching out to them, asking for mentorship, asking for connections, asking for how did they get into the role, that just try to learn what people are doing. And then you start engaging with the audience that you have built, smaller audience maybe, through posts, through regular posts. So like, if you post at Monday 10 a.m., you post that every Monday 10 a.m., day in day out. You can change the topic slightly, but you need to post, you need to engage with people, post some insights, an observation, an article that you read, anything that comes to your mind that you feel like would add value for people, that you feel like would help out somebody, or anything in general, maybe something about the society, something about the culture, something about how we operate, something that you feel like you could add value to, something that's related to your expertise. So I feel like these are the 3-4 steps that if you do consistently, it helps you, build a following. Like, nobody wants to build a following, you just try to add value. And when you are adding value, followers or the connections, they're just an outcome, or a byproduct of that. But essentially, one should try and create value for people, and that's through different insights, articles, reports that you read, or just showing your own curiosity on through different LinkedIn posts. Again, everybody has 24 hours in the day, right? So you have to sleep for a good 6 to 7 hours, and then you have to manage the rest as well. So, and you have the choice to either procrastinate, or you get very planned. You go about your day very planned, and then take it from there. So my advice to people would be to plan out your month, plan out your week, and then plan out your day. And when you're planning out your day, you plan it the night that so you're going to sleep. You should think in your mind it, what am I going to do tomorrow when I wake up? What's my schedule going to be like? When you stay planned, when you stay organized, and you have a checklist to follow. So for example, on a Monday, you might want to do a LinkedIn post. You go to office, you need to do all the tasks that you have at office. You want to spend time with the family. There's some time to friends, or any other activity that you want to get into or try or do. So again, just staying very organized, trying to remember the bigger picture, and the long-term vision that you have. Maybe somebody wants to become a CEO or somebody wants to become a founder, just envision that in your mind at that what's the bigger goal that or the long-term vision that one's trying to achieve. And when you have that bigger picture or that purpose in your mind, you would feel like an internal kick coming that you need to do something, you need to not procrastinate, but actually spend your time in a productive manner, spend your time in a way that's helpful for you, that helps you achieve the bigger picture, and eventually, you get through the work that you have to do, be it office work or other work. So keeping everything intact and just focusing on the bigger picture. That's a very good question, and that's something that I've observed in the last couple of years. Something that I struggled with initially as well when I just started out. So anything, be it confidence, learning a skill, my take on it is that you'll struggle at it once, but with practice, you'll get on improving. So if you're struggling with confidence, just, try and go make one presentation in a course, or maybe, just try and speak with new people. Just try and do something that you are struggling at. So, when you are practicing, you'll eventually end up being more confident that you were previously. And with practice, with over and over again, if you are struggling with confidence, you can get through that. Secondly, and most importantly, what has personally helped me was preparation, because once you are prepared about a topic, so if I were to give an impromptu, if I have some information about what I'm going to speak, that 50% or that 70% confidence would automatically come into me, because I know that I have the content. I just need to go and speak in front of the people. And another way would be to kind of engage in public speaking, engage in competitions, like in the universities there are M1s happening, there are other debate competitions happening, there are other networking events happening. So you just try, and again, this all adds up to the first point that I mentioned about practice. You can practice through public speaking, practice through competition, networking, all these things, they add up to your preparation, add up to your practice, and eventually you are at a place which is, or at a level which is better than the previous one. Just to sum it all up, start small. Maybe one, a conversation with a new person at a networking event. You celebrate the progress in terms of what you have achieved. Okay, just give yourself a tap on the back that you have spoken to a new individual that you were previously shy to, or that you previously didn't have the confidence to speak to. And lastly, just surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with people who are pushing you through outside of your comfort zone. And eventually you'll get through it. People struggle with it, but with practice and with preparation and with the tips that I just shared, I feel like it will help you, or people who are struggling with confidence, get through that. Just answer the question. Okay, so the first question that you asked was, like how to prepare for IBA. So again, for those who do not know, IBA has two paths to get into. One is the IBA's internal entry test that you apply for, and the second one is through SAT, that the SAT that you give and then you apply through that. So I went for the IBA test and got through via the interview channel. Like cleared the test and then had the interview and then got in. So for students who are preparing to get into IBA, the best advice that I can give is start early and know that you want to get into this university. If you know that I want to get into IBA, you connect with people who are at IBA. You connect with people who have been through the process of getting into IBA through the test and assessment, like the test and the interviews. And then when you connect with people who have gone through that, they'll guide you on how to go through that. So first is identify which university, be it IBA or any other, you want to get into, and then start preparing for that. I'll be speaking more about the IBA test because that was something that I personally went through. So the IBA test is a little challenging in terms of as compared to other university tests, and it has a fairly low acceptance rate. It's less than 10%. So it's very competitive as well. There are two portions to it. One's mathematics and the other one is English. There's no negative marking in each assessment, like in each section. And there are online resources available. There are YouTube resources available. There are academies that can help you prepare. But essentially, like I didn't take help from any academy, any tutor. I prepared on my all on my own. It's just mathematics from A levels or intermediate, and English poems, English grammar, literature. So if you have worked through your or in A levels, well, if you know what you're doing in terms of if you have taken mathematics or be it intermediate or matriculation, it's English and mathematics, no rocket science, basic formulas. I mean, like not basic formulas, but like formulas in a way that help you test your fundamentals, help you test your concepts. So that's that about how to prepare for it. Like it's either your own channel or online channel. If you could just repeat the second part of your question that I am kind of forgetting.
Yeah, so the second part was
Again, it depends from person to person. The IBA entry test is very specific to IBA, so you can not apply to other universities through that. But with SAT, you can apply to universities internationally or other universities locally that accept SAT. But in my opinion, a con of that is that the payment that you have to make for SAT, it's in USD. So it's fairly expensive as compared to the test that you have to take for local universities. So again, first you need to identify which university you want to get into. If you want to explore international universities as well, I would recommend going for SAT. That would eventually help you in local universities as well as internationally. But at the same time, if somebody cannot afford or somebody doesn't want to spend that extra bucks on SAT, they should, go for the local or the university's internal entry test.
alright.